Happy Beltane! Welcome and thanks so much for joining us this evening on episode 50 of Nature's Mysteries Medicine Show, Seed Starting, in our organic gardening series for the whole month of May. I'm Michele Wildflower. I'm the founder and alchemist for Nature's Mysteries Apothecary, also the director of education for Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health. And we're just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. We've had 20 graduates through our school the first year, and we're so proud of them. And I'm also the author of the herbal textbook that we use at my school, Discover the Essence of Plant Medicine, the 5 Principles of Life-Saving Herbs. And in it, we talk about Rudolf Steiner, who is actually the founder of organic gardening. He could see the decline of the soil around him from the chemical farming that was happening around the time period of the industrialized farming started booming. And the desperate farmers who were coming to him, trying to see if he could help them to regain their soil health, hoping he could offer some insight. And he could relate to them. He wrote multiple books. He gave about 1,900 different lectures to farmers about gardening and utilizing plant compounds as fertilizers with very specific formulations and recipes. And for the month of May, we'll be exploring his ideas around organic gardening and learn how to start seeds, understand the basics of crop rotation, and discover a little bit about companion planting. How does that sound? So I learned the hard way about organic growing challenges and what to look out for sometimes after my seeds were planted. So I was hoping that maybe I could save you from some of the same obstacles that I came across when I was starting my first organic garden. And I wanted to make sure that my potting, so I was trying to be very pure. So I wasn't just making sure that I had organic seeds, but I was also trying to ensure the vitality of the potting soil that I was starting my organic seeds in. And, we're talking probably almost 30 years ago now, so things could have changed. But I got my organic potting soil, which was actually made in Vermont, in Burlington. When I was trying to be really pure. And I wasn't using manure from anyone locally because I couldn't find anyone who had any local livestock that I could use organic, their organic manure. And to me, it wouldn't be considered organic unless the livestock was fed organic feed, right? So I got this potting soil from it was in Burlington, and I looked on the bag and it said that it had manure in there, and I called them and asked them if the manure was from animals that were fed organic feed, and they said no, that it didn't really have to be. It was just a specified number of years that it needed to sit in order for the pathogens to have, to be destroyed, and that it was still considered organic. And like I said, this was a super long time ago. So hopefully things have changed and potting soil is really organic, but maybe now you could find it. We've just been doing mostly direct seeding or using our own soil. But if you look, hopefully you can find some in your area. And the seeds that I like to use are high mowing seeds. They started out a long time ago. They were actually biodynamic as well, not just organic. And they're a great choice for seeds if you're looking for organic seeds. And if you don't have any store near you that's selling any organic seeds, this is an excellent Seed Savers Exchange catalog where you can find organic seeds. See, it has the organic symbol right there. And you can just order them and have them come to you if you're not able to find any high mowing seeds near you. And basically, when you're germinating seeds, obviously you could direct seed them, But if you were going to start them indoors, some seeds actually need a little bit of extra care. So direct seeding might work, but if you wanted to ensure that your seeds actually started, you could put them like wet a paper towel and put it on a paper plate, and then put your seeds in between the wet paper towel, and that can actually help them to germinate. And then you know that you have seeds that have sprouted, and then you could plant them in your little pots in order to ensure the germination rate. And you can check this zone on your seed pack. So most seed packs will tell you on the side right there which zone that they're for. And like for us, we can't plant our seeds until like halfway through June. Seriously, that's what I mean. When people are enjoying the spring equinox and thinking about planting, we're definitely nowhere near, though. It's actually around Mayday, around now, when we start having signs of spring and warmth getting closer. But definitely not time to plant seeds up here. Like I said, in the Northeast Kingdom, we can't plant until after June 15th because we could have a frost June 14th. So, and I've had that happen before. I had a bunch of morning glories, and a friend of mine who wasn't from here, they were actually from Arizona, came and saw my plants, and it had been a beautiful year pretty much since April that year. And they said, "You think it's going to freeze?" It's not going to freeze anymore. We haven't had a frost in months. It's so nice. And I was like, oh, he's probably right. And I planted my morning glories outside. That night we got a frost and it killed them. So I don't do any planting of my little starts until after June 15th, just to be sure. You'll have to check, like I said, in your area, find out what your grow zone is, and then check on your seeds and see if it's okay to direct seed them, or if you know, you're in a place like me, then you would be starting a lot of your seeds indoors as far as your like tomatoes and peppers. A lot of other fruit plants need to be started indoors earlier too, like melons and some squash, but some of those you can direct seed. So basically, you'll start your seeds in your soil and just make sure that you keep them watered, but not too much water because you don't want to drown them, and you want to keep them warm. And then when it comes time to transplant, you'll basically try to harden them off. So does everyone know about hardening off your plants? So you couldn't just take some plants that you had indoors and just put them right out in your garden, because it might be too windy for them. It might be like too bright. The sun might be too hot and it might burn them. They could like get all wilty. So what you want to do is harden them off. And what that actually does is helps them to adjust to the outdoor surroundings that they're going to be living in. And it gets them used to feeling a little wind and some hot sun for a little while, but not too many hours that it exhausts it or kills the plant. So you'll just want to make sure that you harden them off for a couple days before you're ready to actually put them in the garden. Leave them out for a couple days at a time, and every day you can like leave them out for a little bit longer, maybe say for like 3 or 4 days to a week. And then once the seeds have sprouted and they're ready, once your plants are ready for transplanting, sorry about that, then you could make a little place in the garden for them and dig your little hole. And if you turn the plant upside down, turn the pot upside down and give it a gentle tap on the bottom, sometimes give it a little squeeze, then it'll fall out into your hand and you'll have the plant sticking through your fingers. And then you'll just take that and plop that right in the ground. And if it seems like it's root bound at all, you could just kind of like tickle the roots a little bit to separate them so that when they go in the ground, they're able to like get that fresh water and nutrients from the soil. And then just cover it up, but you don't want to like pat it down too hard. So you just want to like lightly cover it and give it a little drink of water. Sometimes if you're planting a large garden and you're doing a lot of transplants, you might forget to give them water. And if you do, that could kill them, just not giving them water when you transplant them, because you've disrupted the roots. So you definitely want to make sure that you do that little bit of watering once you transplanted them. And choose a shady day when you do your transplanting so that they're not going out into hot sun. Maybe choose a later time in the day when it's kind of cooled off a little bit. And like I said, it's not like midday when the heat's real hot and they're going to get like overwhelmed, you know. So then if you know, it seems like sometimes when you're planting your garden and you have these like little tiny starts and the seed pack says to plant them 2 feet apart, you're like, gosh, they're so little, they don't really need that much room, do they? If you have like a small garden, you might be thinking that. But you definitely want to give them that 2 feet apart because they, you know, think of big plants that like squash plants can get huge, lettuces can get huge, so can leafy greens. I mean, all plants really, if they're grown well in good soil, they could get huge. So you want to make sure that you have enough room around your plants and enough space in between your rows so that they can really stretch out and have that space that they need. And if you don't have enough space in your garden that you feel, you know, satisfied with, then you can tune into our companion planting episode. And in that one, we'll teach you how to utilize the most of your garden space so that you can have the plants, some growing underground, some growing above ground, but they're complementary. Companion planting, they actually like being grown next to each other, as well as saving you space in your garden. We'll also be talking about crop rotation, so you can learn how to replace what the previous year's garden's plants removed from the soil. And if you'd like to get a copy of my book, you can go to naturesmysteries.com. We talk all about growing, harvesting, storing, preparations, and applications for 33 different herbs. And if you would like to take your knowledge of gardening and plant medicine even further, our Holistic Health Practitioner program begins May 9th at Nature's Mysteries Academy of Holistic Health. Enrollment is now open, but the doors will be closing soon. We'd love to have you join us. And in 12 short weeks, you could be applying to the American Association of Drugless Practitioners to become a board-certified holistic health practitioner. How cool could that be for your business? So like I said, we profile 33 different herbs. We begin classes May 9th. They're virtual. We meet every Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. And then there's also a Facebook group. And there are 2 discussion posts put in the Facebook group a week. And like I said, we've got 20 board certified graduates so far. So if that's something that you're interested in, you're passionate about plant medicine, and you'd like to turn your passion into your profession, go to naturesmysteries.com today. Sign up. We have scholarships available and payment plan options, and we would love to have you join us. So thank you so much for joining us today on episode 50. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Beltane and that you're able to do something special to celebrate this beginning of spring and warm weather. Thanks so much. Take care.